Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how are you? This is Robin R. Robinson with Big H Love, and thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you had a great week and you're doing every and anything that you can to stay sane in this crazy effed up world, okay? Because we don't want you to jump off the ledge like I almost did a couple weeks ago. So, anywho, um, it's Friday. It's March the 6th. It's 11:38 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's humid and it's going to be raining soon, and that's just the way it is. But I wanted to talk to you about the pros and the cons of living alone. There are many pros as there are cons, so let's examine them, shall we? There's between 24 to 26 million people over 50 years old who live alone. And for those 65 and over, that's 27 to, let me check my notes, 27 to 30%. And it's higher for women than it is for men. I live alone and I have for most of my life. I've had roommates and I did live with my son's father for 3 months. We were really, really young. We probably shouldn't have lived alone, but we did. And we had a nice place too. It was furnished and it was fabulous actually. But, and then for 6 weeks, I lived with this terrible human being, this loser. I guess I just had a bout of temporary insanity when I allowed him into my space, but we lived together for 6 weeks and, he was a total butthole and never again, never again. But you know, uh, it is what it is. It happened, and you got to fall on your butt to realize that it hurts before you decide that you're not going to do it again. So let's talk about the pros and the cons of living alone. So let's talk about the cons and get that wahala out of the way. That's an Iyanla Van Zant term, wahala. Let's get it out of the way. So the cons of living alone are one of them is you become so comfortable with living alone that it becomes a habit, and as a result, you're not really able to collaborate well with others, and you have a an invisible force field uh, set up around you, so you tend to not allow anyone to get into your space, and the force field is not a good idea. It keeps yourself isolated in the whole bit, so that is a con. Another con is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, and being vulnerable is one of the most difficult things to do because it actually means exposing yourself, flaws and all. And I liken being vulnerable to doing jumping jacks naked in slow motion in front of someone that you're in love with. Okay, you're wondering. Is he gonna like me? Does he like what he sees? Is he comparing me to his boo? Will he still love me tomorrow? I mean, when you're, golly, can you imagine doing jumping jacks naked in slow motion in front of somebody? That's trauma. When you're sharing your space, it's almost impossible to hide who you are. You cannot be with someone totally and love them and share your life with them and not show your true self. It's like you're being in it's a charade. You're constantly wondering what's going on. You're covering your tracks. You're lying all the time. You're not being truthful. You're always looking over your shoulder. It's almost like looking at a squirrel. Have you ever watched a squirrel? How they're always hyped up and moving back and forth fast and looking over their shoulders and starting and stopping and frittering and carrying on. Who wants to live a life like that? That is definitely not the way to live, and that is definitely no bueno. I mean, that is wreaking havoc on your nervous system, and that will cause you to lose your mind. Okay, completely and totally, and we do not want that. Um, another con of living alone is when you're sick as a dog and you have to drive yourself to urgent care solo. Okay. Um, that happened to me about 3 years ago around this time when I contacted COVID. And I was so sick. I had to go find an urgent care, and the one that I thought was available was not. I drove over there, it was closed. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. So I'm in the parking lot, can barely hold up my head, and I'm looking for the next urgent care, the closest one, trying to find coordinates, putting them in my phone. So, that was terrible. That was really, really terrible. An ambulance obviously is not an option because ambulance costs $250,000 and you don't want that. And unless you absolutely cannot leave your place and get up out of your bed, then you're going to have to do it on your own. Uh, That was an ordeal. It really was, but I made it, thank the Lord. According to Taraji P. Henson, she says dealing with someone's unhealed son is definitely a con. Okay, the same applies for dealing with someone's unhealed daughter. Dealing with somebody's unhealed human is not a good thing, whether you're living with them or whether you're in a house full of people. Dealing with anything unhealed is not ideal. Okay, so the goal is to heal. Okay. However, being in a toxic relationship with someone to avoid being single, now that's asking for trouble. I mean, that's hell waiting to happen. It's desperate and it's thirsty, and we attract what we give out. So, and dogs smell fear and insecurity. So, that's when they're going to strike. When they can smell it all up on you, that's when they're going to strike. So, unless you're looking for dogs, put the desperate Diana look away. Just put it away. Put it away. You don't want that, okay? Nobody wants dogs around them unless you're a dog lover. But I'm talking about male dogs, not male dogs, male human beings who are dogs, okay? Nobody wants that. At least I don't. I don't think my intelligent subscribers want that either. So, and if you do, there's hope. There's hope. You can always switch around. You can always change. You can always decide that that's not what you want, and carry on. Okay, it's all about progress and it's all about forward momentum. All right. But to be honest, the next con about living with someone or being not single is when I was talking to my son yesterday about this, and I asked him opinion about this, and he told me that if two people were sharing life, and I really like the term that he used, when two people are sharing life, then this is just part of it. Um, so here we go. So, what do you do when you've eaten something that has not has not it hasn't settled with you well? It hasn't settled with your tummy well. Or let's say you have eaten something that's good, like cruciferous vegetables, kale, onions, broccoli, cauliflower, and all that, and it is good for you. However, eating those kinds of good things cause flatulence because the lower intestines has to do extra work to break it down in the whole bit. So my question is, what do you do when you have gas with your significant other? You're lying in bed and you've got the rumbles and the grumbles and the toots and the hoots and the whole bit. What do you do? Do you turn on the overhead fan? Do you light up an incense? Do you open up the window? Do you say excuse me? Or do you do all the above? I mean, what do you do? I mean, I guess I don't know. Do you go to the bathroom? I mean, but you might not have to go to the bathroom at the time. Just because you have gas doesn't automatically mean that you need to go to the bathroom. So, and I know gas isn't supposed to smell like lavender. I know that, but what do you do if it's particularly funky? Funky. What do you do? You know, does your boo think that you're like this disgusting gas bag? I mean, are they still attracted to you? I mean, what happens? What is he or she is thinking? My goodness gracious, what is that I'm smelling right now? It doesn't smell particularly pleasant. What is going on with you? So, Richard Pryor had a joke about that a while ago, and I won't repeat it here, but uh, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think you would do, or what you would do if you had gas in front of your significant other in bed, or not in bed, or in the car, or whatnot. What would you do? So, but now let's talk about the cons. I mean, the pros of living alone. The cons are the pros, my bad. The pros are the peace and quiet are priceless. You don't have to answer to anyone. You can do what you want when you want for as long as you want, including passing gas freely. Privacy protects you from negative people. You don't have to match someone's energy. You can take naps whenever you want for as long as you want. You can sleep in as late as you want. You can cook whatever dinner you want. You don't have to ask anybody what they want for dinner. Your schedule is your schedule. You don't have to confirm or conform with anyone. There's no drama, and unless you have a pet, your life schedule is your own. You tend to care less about what other people. You tend to care less about other people's opinions. It's called I give zero F's itis. Not dropping any F bombs, but it's I give zero F's itis. Jay Shetty says that the difference between solitude and loneliness is solitude is the strength of being alone versus lonely, which is the weakness of being alone. You can be comfortable in your own company. If you can be comfortable in your own company, that is truly a success. So give yourselves a shout out if you are living alone and you're loving it, okay? Right on, right on, right on. It's a wonderful thing to live alone and be at peace, and your bills are paid, your place is comfortable, you got your streaming, you got good food, you got good peace of mind, and you're feeling wonderful. So amen to that. So anyway, I'm gonna jump off, and I hope these nuggets of knowledge keep your mind moisturized and help you to carry on with your fantastic voyage of life, okay, and a fantastic voyage of living alone. And I know I want to meet my forever boo. I do. I want to meet him, and I want us to thrive and grow and glow and be each other's cheerleaders, and to love each other faithfully and unconditionally. However, maybe if we saw each other only Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and he had his own pad, maybe that would be better. You think? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by Big H Love with Robin R. Robinson. I appreciate your gorgeous self. I appreciate your liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. I really, really appreciate that. Please continue. Take care of your gorgeous, incredible self. Be well. Be happy, be blessed, and be grateful. Enjoy your weekend, and don't forget to spring forward. You lose an hour on Saturday when you go to bed. Spring forward, and I'll talk to you next week. And you take it easy now. Be well, be happy, be blessed.